racist decides to attack and is known as a racist attack, but gets a light sentence and avoids getting a hate crime charge, which hate crime legislation was created for this very reason. Put them up full mass. Hell of a story. An unprovoked hate crime against a black male has left communities in Branson, Missouri on edge, and people online are calling for tougher charges against the perpetrator. So the unidentified victim was left bruised and beaten after an alleged surprise attack in an apartment complex by Kenneth K. Smith, a 40-year-old white male who was arrested on the 13th of February, charged with third-degree assault. He gets arrested. According to the probable cause statement, Smith repeatedly yelled racial slurs. That's it. You did a crime, you yelled racial slurs in the midst of the crime. That's basically open and shut. That's a hate crime. So he yelled racial slurs as he punched the victim in the face and kicked him several times while he was on the ground. Quote, after he fell on the ground, Kenneth proceeded to kick victim one in the back, an eyewitness told police, adding that Smith called him gorilla several times throughout the attack. Security footage corroborated this, end quote. This is what the probable cause statement reads, okay? Quote, during this time, in the video, victim one's arms are seen rigid and sticking straight up as if they are locked into place, and he is unable to move. He's unconscious. He's in shock, okay? The man continues to beat him while calling him racial slurs. The attack is unprovoked. This is open as shit. Hate crime charges, period. Easiest case for a DA to win. There's more. So Smith reportedly refused to back away even after police arrived on the scene. He didn't get shot. They didn't kill him. And continued to fight and hurl racial slurs as he was being placed under arrest. That's per the local news. The police believe Smith recently moved to the apartment complex and called the attack unprovoked, adding, quote, there is no evidence tying Kenneth and victim one to each other. You have no motive. You have no prerequisite, meaning they weren't in some kind of conflict about money. Sometimes when there's an actual conflict, the hate crime statute does not apply, okay? Unprovoked, he attacks this man. He then yells, screams racial slurs while attacking the man. Police arrive. They don't attack the attacker. They try to arrest the attacker while the attacker is still attacking the black male. Smith is now being held without bail at the Taney County Jail and is facing third-degree assault charges. That's a Class E felony, okay? According to the arrest records. The charge carries a maximum sentence of 4 years in prison. That's the max. During a February 17th video hearing from jail, Smith pleaded not guilty, adding a hate crime charge would boost the offense to a Class D felony, which involves higher fines and carries up to 7 years in prison in the state of Missouri. This is also not Smith's first brush with the law. He has a history of assault charges in Hannibal and Rales County, in which he has entered multiple guilty pleas. His latest arrest occurred in 2023, in which he was charged with felony resisting arrest in Hannibal. According to court records, the victim of the February 13th attack suffered swelling of his head, did not remember that he had been kicked several times. This was a brutal and vicious assault, and the man who has been arrested, put him back up again full mass, has somehow avoided being charged under the very simple hate crime statute that's allowable when a person decides to engage in a racially motivated attack. What good is it when lawmakers fight, when communities fight to get a hate crime law passed, and then that legislation, that law is not applied to the people that it should be applied to. And some people ask, why hate crime legislation? Because hate crimes are so egregious that in order to send a message to people, not to attack individuals based on an immutable quality like color of their skin, you can't change that. That you don't want a policy, an open policy, to where people get off light for attacking you based on something you cannot change about yourself. And because of that, and because it shocks the conscience of society, we decide there has to be a hate crime legislation so that there can be an enhancer to the penalty. If you decide to attack someone for these ridiculous reasons, things they can't change about themselves just because you happen to be racist, you want to attack somebody, well, you want to play those games, we got somewhere for you to go, and you can sit there for a long time. So that becomes the cause and effect. And hopefully through that policy, you have less hate crimes and people think twice before doing something like this. All right, Sharon, thoughts here?
Yeah, that's if you want to deter these
Right.
racially motivated attacks, and it's clear you don't. What I guess puzzles me is this: America has a rich, celebrated history of racial violence, racial intimidation, racial killing. That's who we've always been, and that's what's continuing today in too many pockets. And some people would argue with the word pockets. So I don't understand why you don't just own it.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to shed it. You want to continue playing in our faces instead of just, we get it's there. I don't know why we can't just all say it's there and you don't want to do anything about it.
Right. That's it. And you make a hell of a point. The only way you stop enforcing your hate crime legislation that's on the books is because you don't want a deterrent to hate crimes, because that's the whole reason you have a hate crime statute in the beginning.